Mutual respect is a concept that actually has originated from the Chinese side of the negotiations that are ongoing with the United States over the trade conflict. But I think it stands much more importantly as a representation of how China and its policymakers and its government looks to engage globally with not just the United States, but all parties. But specifically, when you look at the concept of mutual respect and you use it or consider it from the standpoint of how China is looking to engage with America at this point, when the two sides first, when the two sides became a little bit more at odds with each other, there was conflict. The Chinese went to the United States and said, okay, before we move forward, for us to have any ability to have an honest conversation about how to make both our relationship and our own respective countries work, we have to respect each other. We have to come into this discussion where we recognize that America has their issues and their concerns, but also recognizing that they have a different, let's say, way of looking at things, way of their governance models. And the Americans also would need to do the same thing. They would need to come and say, we're not here where one party or the other party is above the other, but that they're equals. And I thought that this was a brilliant idea because what you find is, in a very traditional Chinese way, from my perspective, when there's conflict in any relationship, whether it's in a marriage, whether it's in a business transaction or anything else, it's very important, I find, that China has taught me, you need to begin to correct whatever issues are present by recognizing what actually you have in common. And that's where mutual respect can come in. We can come in and we can start with, I respect you, you respect me. Okay, that's great, that's a check. We know that we're starting off equally. And then the second way forward would be, okay, let's start with, where do we agree? We know we have disagreements and we'll get to those. But it's perhaps more important to build a degree of trust, of understanding. And you can do so, or the Chinese will attempt to do so, in their approach to negotiations by beginning with areas in which there is agreement. The unfortunate, call it cultural difference, is that the American idea is much more aggressive. There's this idea of, if you're not with us, you're against us. It's very difficult for the Americans to build room for there to be mutual, not just respect, but mutual understanding. Now, the Chinese are, I have found over the last, 8 months or so since this trade conflict has been ongoing, they're not simply going to say, we want mutual respect, and if you don't give it to us, then okay, we'll listen to you. And if you look globally in the manner in which the Americans, because remember, the Americans have not just started a trade conflict with China. There's a trade conflict with everybody. And for the most part, other countries there's been more of a willingness to give the Americans what they're asking for. China's been the only country that has said, no, we are not going to simply give you because you are being that aggressive. We are actually going to match you, right? Drink for drink. If you come and you want to drink once, we'll drink once. If you want to drink twice, we'll drink twice. So there's both the understanding of we want to work together, but also at the same time, we're not going to be afraid to be able to protect what are our national sovereign interests. So where we're at right now is a very difficult period, and as I'll discuss later, a period that I am very optimistic may be coming to an end in a positive way, because there has been ongoing dialogue, as I'll discuss. But I also suspect that right now the Americans are finally beginning to realize that for there to be progress, for this difficult period to move forward, they are in fact going to have to engage with the Chinese with the idea of mutual respect. And once we're able to get to that point, I do believe that all of the issues that are outstanding, they can be resolved quite quickly.